Because of jealousy, it means that one gets more excited than usual during sexual acts. I don't want to lose to other men. This woman is mine. Therefore, the desire to make a woman infatuated through sexual acts becomes even stronger. And I think it becomes very intense. Everyone, the time has finally come. This time, it's the annual jealousy ranking for ENHYPEN on this channel. Despite having been predicting ENHYPEN for a long time, I realized that I hadn't ranked everyone's jealousy yet. I've become aware of this and would like to start right away. For those who wonder why, I can understand the jealousy of the ENHYPEN members. Let me explain. I am a fortune teller, and I provide readings using Western astrology as a discipline that has existed for over 4,000 years, which creates a natal chart based on a person's birth date. This is also referred to as a horoscope. From this chart, one can predict personality, traits and qualities. So I'm not just saying random things. Now, let's start the jealousy ranking. Those ranked lower have a weaker sense of jealousy, while the one ranked highest has the strongest sense of jealousy. First up is 7th place. 7th place goes to Heesung. This doesn't mean that Heesung has no feelings of jealousy. However, among the 7, he has quite a sense of jealousy. I will now explain why that is. I think Heesung has a tendency to deliberately not pay attention to the jealousy. I have feelings of jealousy, but I try not to be aware of them. Because I try not to be aware of them, it seems that the feeling of jealousy doesn't arise much, and I am not fixated on it. This is because Heesung values the balance and stability of his emotions more than simply living with his own feelings of joy, anger, sorrow, and pleasure. Driven mad by jealousy, consumed by anger, and then lost in sadness, I live with the feeling that I don't want to be swayed by my emotions. Like feeling hatred towards the person who made me jealous. Being swayed by emotions is bad for Heesung. You could even say it's the worst thing. So rather than having no jealousy, I live my life trying to be as unaware of my own jealousy as possible. That's why I am not swayed by feelings of jealousy. From the outside, that person has a weak sense of jealousy. And I also think to myself that I have a relatively weak sense of jealousy, which is why I ended up in last place at 7th. Next is the 6th place. 6th place goes to John Wang. Although John Wang is in 6th place, he is very close to Heesung in 7th place. The reason I ranked 6th is that John Wang is somewhat more attached to his emotions than Heesung. I realize that I'm feeling jealous of him right now. I find myself feeling jealous. In that way, I have a tendency to honestly acknowledge my jealousy. You probably won't pretend like not to see things. Does. However, like Heesung, Jongwon also has a very strong desire not to show his jealousy to others, and not to let those around him notice it. Therefore, from the outside, people might think that he is not jealous. However, deep down, I do feel jealousy, of course. It's just that Jongwon feels embarrassed, as if being seen naked, when his emotions are easily read by others. So there is a part of me that dislikes this. And it's not just jealousy. All my emotions are like that. I have a tendency not to let my emotions spill out. Therefore, when I see someone like Jongwon, who is emotional and has intense feelings, I tend to pull back a little. I mean, I sometimes can't understand why that person always expresses their emotions openly without any shame. This is not about who is right or wrong. It's a difference in personality. Moreover, Jongwon has a very intelligent and calm demeanor. And even if he feels jealous of his partner, it doesn't change the current situation. His jealousy doesn't serve any purpose, nor does it improve their relationship. So, I wonder if holding on to jealousy is just pointless. You have a way of thinking calmly and rationally, don't you? Therefore, overall, it seems that the feeling of jealousy is quite weak. It's not just about being thin. It's also understandable to have feelings of jealousy. It became 6th place by not having it, and not continuing to have it. Here is the announcement for the Lord's fortune-telling site. Next is the 5th place. In 5th place is Nikki. I can't say that they still don't have any jealousy. Generally speaking, I can't say that. Nikki is someone who has jealousy. Those of you who are watching this channel probably already understand, but Nikki is the type who wants to be free. I absolutely hate being restricted or having my freedom. Therefore, I don't do to others what I wouldn't want done to myself. In that sense, I won't bind the other person either. I tend to be the type that allows freedom, so I'm not the kind of person who gets jealous and restricts my partner's freedom. Instead, I think it's important not to restrict my own freedom. Even someone like Nikki, of course, express anger and jealousy if they clearly found out that their partner was cheating or was interested in another man and was distracted by that. However, such situations are rare and hardly ever happen. So in a normal life, you would almost never encounter Nikki's jealousy. But even someone like Nikki has a tendency to be jealous, particularly when it comes to the talents of others. I think there are times when you don't want to lose in this field and show your rivalry openly, but that's just because you want to win. I don't think it's 100% jealousy. It's not so much jealousy as my competitive nature coming through. As a result, my feelings of jealousy towards someone I like are relatively weak, which is why I ranked 5th. Next is 4th place. This type also has weak feelings of jealousy, and it will be Song Hoon. Sun Hung Min in 4th place and Nikki in 5th place are very close. So why is Sun Hung Min ranked higher than Nikki in jealousy? It's because he has strong preferences and attachment when it comes to love. As I've mentioned many times in fortune-telling videos, Sun Hung Min is a romantic disposition. I have a very strong desire to be in love, to love a woman, and to be loved, making romance a high priority in my life. While Nikki is not like this. Song Hun loves romance and prioritizes it highly, which also leads to feelings of jealousy. Additionally, a sense of obsession can arise towards romantic partners. The things you expect from others also increase, so that means that jealousy also tends to rise accordingly. However, within this group, it only ranked 4th in terms of jealousy. So it doesn't seem like there is that much jealousy in general. It's at a normal level. As for the way Sun Hung Min expresses his jealousy, I think he would say it directly to the person. For example, I get jealous because you do things like that. And I want you to stop because it makes me angry. It's not good to do things that would make others jealous. And I think they would directly say that to the person involved. They are a very easy to understand type. They are twisted and possess jealousy. However, they are not the type to hide that feeling. Another characteristic might be that one expresses their jealousy as sexual desire towards the other person. What this means is that, because of the jealousy, one gets more excited than usual during sexual activities. I don't want to lose to other men. This woman is mine. In that sense, I think the desire to make women obsessed sexual acts becomes even stronger. And it can be very intense. So conversely, it might be better to let Sun Hoon feel a bit of jealousy, as it could make the night more passionate and the sexual acts more exciting. I think we could say it becomes more passionate. Next is the 3rd place. From 3rd to 1st place, there tends to be quite a bit of jealousy. 3rd place goes to Sonu. It's impossible to tell Sonu not to feel jealous, because it's natural to want to be together with someone you like, to have physical contact, and to spend as much time as possible together. We want to share our feelings with each other. It's only natural to feel jealous when someone you love looks at others, or is attracted to other men, given that you have such kindness and depth of affection. Well, rather than jealousy, I think I would feel sad Even though I love them so much, they don't return the same amount of love. I can imagine feeling very hurt and sad, thinking that I have been betrayed. Therefore, the jealousy is intense, but it will likely be characterized by the sadness and deep hurt that come before the jealousy. As I explained felt this, that I truly must never make someone as loving and gentle as Sonu sad. Isn't it also a sin to instill feelings of jealousy? Songhan said that when jealousy arises, the night becomes intense, and sexual acts become passionate. So I think a little jealousy can be a good romance. However, I believe that with Sonu, such things should not be done. Rather than letting jealousy become a spice for love, which could potentially destroy it seems better to approach kindness Sonu and sincerity, without trying to provoke jealousy to gain attention. First of all, Sonu is a male. He has a weak desire to conquer women when it comes to dating them. For some men, winning over the woman equals making her their girlfriend. Some people think of it as other person. It's something that can't be helped as a male instinct. However, as a woman, it's not something that is very pleasant. In that regard, Sonu makes women his lovers. He doesn't think of conquering women in that way, and his feelings are quite weak. So making such a person feel jealousy doesn't lead to anything good. Next, I would like to say it's in second place. But there are members tied for third place with Sonu. That's Jay. I thought it might be better to rank Jay and Sonu, but since they both have a similar level of jealousy, they both ended up in third place. It's understandable that Jay is jealous, because Jay has one emotion. I have always held it in my heart. I have been nurturing it for a long time. It's because there is such a tendency. Once you start feeling jealousy, it's difficult to get rid of it quickly. There's a tendency to hold onto it in your heart. Once jealousy takes hold, I think it's hard to let go and forgive. And that jealousy doesn't want to lose to other men. In that sense, it can easily lead to earnestness. Earnestness, I think, comes from a sense of jealousy, wanting to turn a woman's attention towards oneself and make her infatuated, which leads to effort like buying expensive gifts or taking her to nice restaurants. However, I don't think having a certain level of jealousy is necessarily a good thing. This is because Jay desires a stable romantic relationship, and being tossed jealousy can be exhausting, leading to a dislike for the very act of being in a relationship. Therefore, it seems better to keep jealousy in moderation. That said, it was precisely because Jay is so jealous that he took this woman from another man in an affair where the woman also has a partner, yet feels victorious. In such a situation, where the woman in front of you has another partner, and you are creating a scenario that makes that partner jealous, I think it can be quite exciting. It's amazing that I can make other men precisely jealous because I am jealous myself. I think being in a position that makes someone jealous is thrilling and gives you butterflies. Next is a proud first place. In first place is Jake. I think there are some of you who expected this. Jake becomes jealous not only of women, but also of everything he is interested in and has affection for. He develops a sense of obsession. This is likely a characteristic of Scorpio, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Jake's sun sign, Mercury sign, and Venus sign are all Scorpio, and since this Scorpio trait is quite strong, it's impossible to tell Jake not to be possessive, because there is a sense of attachment. So, in Jake's case, the strength of that attachment has become the charm Jake possesses. Therefore, being jealous is not necessarily a bad thing. Jake's jealousy is directed not only at the current situation, but also at his partner's past. Don't you think? For example, what kind of person was the man she dated in the past? I want to know, but I also don't want to know. And I definitely want to be better than the men from the past. I want you to love yourself. There is a high possibility that you have such intense feelings. For some people, the past is the past, and it's already over, so it doesn't really matter. Now is more important than the past. There are also people who think that, while now is important, the future is important too. The one who thinks so, within ENHYPEN, is Jongwon. From Jongwon's perspective, I think he can't understand Jake's fixation on the past. However, for Jake, what he sees now is important. It's not just the situation of my partner that matters, I want to know everything, including the past and present. And since I believe that understanding everything is what makes us partners, it's only natural to feel jealous about the past. It's precisely because he has this attitude of matters that Jake has a strong sense of curiosity and the concentration to immerse himself in one thing, allowing him to become a professional in that field. He's not the type to have a broad but shallow understanding. It's a life that pursues one thing deeply and narrowly. It's just that this is also reflected in love. I think such a sense of obsession is wonderful. It's not necessarily bad to have a broad but shallow understanding, but it can lead to the feeling that you know everything just by being aware of surface-level events. It's easy to fall into such a superficial way of thinking. However, Jake looks beyond the surface to uncover the truths and genuine feelings that lie beneath. I also want to know about the dirty, muddy sides. From a general perspective, it may not be a beautiful side at all. However, there are those who have the courage not to turn away from it. Therefore, if you are going to date Jake, you should only focus on the fun aspects of romance and leaves you thinking, oh, that was fun. With such feelings, you might not be able to have a romantic relationship with Jake. Face Jake head on, and with integrity. Not telling lies. Having such an attitude might be a good thing.